it's a hard sell, I'd say, for, my world is the startup scale-up environment.
Mhm.
What suddenly moves it from, well, this is nice to have in like the heyday when everything's great,
Yeah.
to, now, which is holy crap, how are we going to keep the lights on in the next 6 months?
So imagine it like this. Imagine the deficit model is -10 and the flourishing is +10. Okay.
Mm.
And you gauge for yourself where you believe your organization is. Are we in a -8, which is it's all falling apart? Quick, we need to get an intervention in at the moment. We've had so much sick leave. We've spent apps, this, blah, blah, blah. Or are we in a place that generally the well-being is good? It's a smaller team. We're okay, but we want to get to a point. We want to sustain that, and we want to get to a point of flourishing, optimal human performance and well-being. So first of all, you've got to gauge where you are on that spectrum. But it's kind of a cycle that goes around. Even though it's a -10 to a plus, it loops back round on itself, because even the high performers on this end that are doing very well, all it takes is a bereavement or something to happen at home, and they go from the high performers to really needing that support. Is it better to have that infrastructure in place before they get to that point? When the wheels fall off, everyone comes back to the same thing, and I wish we had done this sooner.
How do we ensure that the right people are stepping up to take these roles?
So we've got 3 or 4 questions that we ask. It's why do you want to be a mental health first? So it's the priming, it's the preparation, it's that when you saw the flow diagram, MHFA is part 2. So there's a whole phase of understanding who we're getting on board, and Chris will be happy to share the questions for you to ask people. Here's an interesting point to note. To go and be a Samaritans, to be on the call centers, you cannot be experiencing any current grief, any trauma. Everything has to be processed. Yeah, because you can't be on the phone to people taking on all of that stuff and you haven't processed your own stuff. So they're very thorough with that when you go in and you end up support. And that's the kind of level we need to be when enlisting these and investing in these individuals. Really differentiating, is this support for yourself and knowledge that you're trying to gain for yourself? Or is it because you want to be a helper and that you feel that you've got the extra resource, the internal energy and resource and desire to support those around you? They're 2 very different ways. What we're now going to focus on doing is, before we actually even train up people, we will hold like a circle, kind of like this, for all the prospective mental health first aid applicants, and we'll go through what the role might look like, what they might have to do within the organization, and that can be co-facilitated with someone from within the organization, so that they're really clear before they undertake this training and before you invest in what the expectations of the role are. If you went back to your respective organizations now and said to 5 people, so you got some qualitative data, you said to 5 people, you did an interview with them, and you said, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. What's the EAP? How do we access it? What can it do for you? Yeah, and then you're going to get a real good sense of what's happening on the ground. Do people actually know what it is? How to access it? What do they think it is? You could also ask them, what would be your concerns about using it? Yeah, all open questions, by the way, so they're not yeses and nos. Take that one step further, find out who it is and call the EAP as a manager. Call them yourself, and they're always lovely. Say, look, I'm a manager, I manage a team of X amount of people, and I just want to know, if I signpost someone to you, what the journey would be like. Like, am I going to be on hold for 25 minutes? Do I speak to someone fairly quickly? So that, Shadi, when you then go and speak to one of your peers, you say, listen, I called them up, they were so lovely, they're much more likely to go and use that. It's just such a simple little technique, such a simple little tool, but we can't all know everything, but we can certainly share things that work.